Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's the middle of the night right now, but I'm kind of restless and I just thought I would take a minute to share some of my favorite anime with you guys. I think this video is going to be the first of a series that I'm going to do where I discuss some of my favorite, anime series, both old and new. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. But before I jump into the video discussion and all of that, I would like to give a shout out to all of the people in Florida right now. In case you don't know, there's a gigantic hurricane that is literally barreling towards Florida. And I know a lot of great people who live there. Even if I didn't, my thoughts and prayers still go out to those people. I hope that you guys are safe. I hope that you're making it out okay. And my heart goes out to you. So that's going to be a difficult time for everybody involved. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Getting into the video, really right now I'm kind of in a nostalgic kind of mood. So I think I'm going to talk about one of my favorite oldies. And I think I'm going to go with Saint Seiya for those of you who are familiar with that series. For those of you who are not, Saint Seiya is wow. That is a classic. That is an old anime. The first Saint Seiya, at least. The Saint Seiya is one of those series that just kind of refuses to die nowadays. But as far as fans like me are concerned, that's totally fine. Like, don't die, just stay alive forever. Yeah. So the first Saint Seiya, which is the series that I'm talking about. I think, boy, it was first released, I think, as an anime series in the 80s, like early 80s, if I'm not mistaken, back when, like, that's about as old school as it gets right there. Saint Seiya kind of falls in line with, like, Ronin Warriors and Voltron and just all of that classic shonen, that shonen teamwork kind of theme. I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, it's, for me, let's see, I started watching Saint Seiya like in the early 2000s when it used to come on Cartoon Network, and it went under the title Knights of the Zodiac, and Deke Studios are the ones who dubbed it. And back then, I was a kid, I was young, I was like, this is the most exciting thing, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like, that wasn't my first exposure to anime, but it was one of the earliest, like, before I really knew what anime was as a genre, I was like 11, 12, 13 years old at the time. And I used to watch Knights of the Zodiac all of the time, and I was just like, wow, this show is great. And then it just kind of disappeared for a long time, and I just kind of left my mind. Like, I never thought about it for years and years, until I, got more into the anime culture, more into cons and everything. And that's when I realized, okay, this is Saint Seiya, actually. That's what it's actually called. And it's a great old school shonen anime. The first series, like I said, it was, it was from the 80s, so like, it's one of those shows where you expect to see a lot of the same footage again and again. Like, they didn't have, like, a really large budget for anime back then, I'm assuming. And, like, consequently, you see a lot of the same stills again and again and again. But, to me, as far as the classic Saint Seiya series goes, that's part of the charm. If you're going to watch an old school anime, fucking watch an old school anime. So, do so without serious complaints. You can talk about it and make fun of it, but you know what you're in for. So don't give me no lip. But yeah, Saint Seiya is, as looking at it from an adult perspective, it appeals to me in so many different ways. Like, it has, like, first of all, I'm a mythology buff. I love any sort of mythology. Greek mythology, Norse. I can't talk. Let's drink. Norse mythology, Japanese mythology, just anything mythology really just kind of appeals to me. I love the lore. I love the stories and everything. Excuse me. I love all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, I don't think I realized it back then, but that's probably why Saint Seiya was appealing to me so much. It was just the lore and all of these different themes and, you know, mythologies, and it was just so exciting to me. It still is. And so, you know, Saint Seiya follows the story of the chosen saints of Athena. You know, basically Athena, the goddess of war and beauty, has been reborn in the 21st century, and her latest incarnation has chosen these saints, you know, to be her warriors, her protectors, the guardians of the earth, if you will. Or, I was about to make a bad joke. I'm not gonna do it. But, so, you know, Athena has her chosen saints, and there's all these different statuses and cliques among the saints. You know, there's the bronze saints, there's the silver saints, there are the gold saints. You know, for a minute there were a few other different categories. Like there were the steel saints. I think there was a platinum saint, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time since I watched this series. I think there was a platinum saint. I think there was, oh, the crystal saint. There was so many different ones. The flame saint. There were elemental ones. And it just went on and on from there. And so, you know, Athena had these saints charged with, most of them charged with protecting the world and all, you know, evil, and that stands against justice and goodness and all of that good stuff. But she isn't the only one who has saints, naturally. The other, like, Greek gods have them too. And occasionally Athena's saints have to go up against some of the other saints from the other Greek gods, and they have to do battle, and it's a whole debacle, and the story kind of repeats itself. That's another thing you kind of have to get used to if you're gonna explore the Saint Seiya series. They use the same premise a lot, like over and over again. It gets repetitive. It truly can. That's like one of the flaws of this series. But, you know, if you're a hardcore fan like me who, you know, is there for the lore and the character connections, the character development, you know, meeting new characters, meeting new saints, meeting new gods and goddesses in this world that's contained within this show, you know, it's a lot of fun. You know, even though it can be repetitive, you're okay with it, or at least I am. I can't speak for everybody. Drink. By the way, for anybody who's curious, this is a blue curacao, hypnotic, and white rum mixture. I forget the exact, like, technical recipe name of it, but it's delicious. And yeah, it's great. So, yeah, Saint Seiya, the title character is a young man named Seiya, who was an orphan like many of his fellow saints, and he was he started out as a bronze saint under the goddess Athena. Seiya, as far as his character, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, he's not my favorite. But, you know, and it's not just because he's the title character, because his name is in the title. I think Seiya probably has the least personality amongst the saints that I remember. I remember finding him so boring compared to the other saints, even in his own group, of which he is the leader. You know, I don't know, his personality was kind of one-dimensional to me. It's like, you know, he didn't really make a whole lot of impactful decisions. You know, usually he was either the last one to, like, take the bad guy down or something. Usually he ended up, like, accomplishing his goals, I wouldn't say in the most lackluster way possible, but I don't know, his, you know, just thinking back on the last time I watched the series, which has been a couple of years now, it's, I don't know, Seiya's goals and ambitions just seem kind of meh. You know, like, I know him and his bronze saints troop, you know, which is, you know, him and 4 other guys. You know, it seemed like their struggles were always kind of a little bit more interesting than his. You know, his just kind of paled in comparison to the stuff that they had going on. But anyway, that's, I don't dislike Seiya. Seiya's great. He's just not the most exciting character, especially of this group of 5 people that make up the main characters, basically. But yeah, Seiya, besides being the leader of the group, he also wears the bronze armor of Pegasus, which is actually pretty cool. That's, in my opinion, one of the coolest things about him, is that he does have the Pegasus armor, which is awesome. And let's see, the rest of the ones in his group